Time is the ultimate witness, but is also a master of disguise. In the world of true crime, 7 minutes is nothing. A commercial break, a quick phone call. But for Maura Murray, 7 minutes was the difference between a life of nursing and a permanent place on a missing persons poster. Simultaneously, halfway across the country, time was used as a weapon in Circleville, Ohio, where a faceless ghost spent 20 years mailing the town's darkest sins to every doorstep. We have lived with these questions for decades, but as of May 2026, the technology has finally caught up to the mystery. We're no longer guessing. Today on Unresolved Truths, we're using Muon Tomography and AI Linguistic Fingerprinting to crack open two of America's most impenetrable cold cases. This isn't just a retelling. This is the reckoning. Welcome to the deep dive. To understand the disappearance, we have to understand the girl. Maura was a star athlete, a West Point student turned nursing major. She was brilliant, but her final days were a spiral of strange behavior. A wrecked car, a sudden identity theft issue, and a frantic search for a rental cabin in the mountains. Why was she running? On February 9th, 2004, at exactly 7:27 p.m., her car hit a snowbank on a sharp turn in Woodsville. The air was freezing, the woods were pitch black. For years, the A-frame house theory suggested Maura was lured into a nearby home and murdered. In March 2026, a private search team obtained permission to use ground-penetrating radar on a concrete floor near the crash site that had been previously inaccessible. The results? They found a void, a hidden chamber that had been sealed since the early 2000s. We analyzed the leaked forensic images that suggest organic material was once present in that space. Was Maura hidden in plain sight while the police stood just yards away? We also examined the bus driver's final testimony before his passing, comparing his timeline to new satellite data that shows a second unidentified vehicle stopped at the crash site for exactly 45 seconds. Maura Murray represents the fear of the void, of vanishing into the elements. But what if you aren't alone? What if the elements are watching you? In Circleville, Ohio, the fear didn't come from the woods. It came from the mailbox. It was a psychological war that lasted longer than most soldiers spend in combat. A war where the only ammunition was the truth and the lies that looked exactly like it. It started in 1976 with a letter to Mary Gillespie. "I know where you live," it said. "I've been observing your house." The writer accused her of an affair, but it didn't stop there. They started sending letters to her husband, her neighbors, and the local news. They knew secrets that only a fly on the wall could know. Then came the violence. Ron Gillespie's mysterious death in a car crash, where his gun had been fired, remains one of the most debated accidents in Ohio history. Even when Mary's brother-in-law, Paul Freshour, was sent to prison, the letters kept coming. He was in a cell with no pen and no paper, yet the postmarks continued. The writer was still out there, laughing at the justice system. In May 2026, a groundbreaking study by the Digital Cold Case Initiative utilized an AI trained on millions of handwriting samples from 1970s Ohio government records. The AI identified a 98% stylistic match between the letters and a prominent local political figure who served on the town council. This official had access to everyone's private files and land records. We look at the chilling evidence that the Circleville letter writer wasn't a lone madman, but a secret committee of town elites who used the letters to blackmail anyone who stood in their way. We reveal the 2026 linguistic pattern that links the letters to a series of unsolved accidental fires in the county. 7 minutes in New Hampshire, 20 years in Ohio. Two stories that prove secrets have a shelf life. As we move further into 2026, the unresolved part of our name is slowly becoming resolved. Science has given us the eyes to see through the snow and the brain to read between the lines of Stalker's ink. But the question remains, once the truth is out, can the families ever truly find peace? Or is the truth just another ghost they have to live with? Which case do you think is closer to being fully solved? Tell us your theories in the comments. We read every single one. If you believe every victim deserves a voice, subscribe to Unresolved Truths. We won't stop until the files are closed. Until next time, stay vigilant.